This is one of the best decks I ever used. Here we have a Umi control deck with a bit of legendary Fisherman on top. We're going with Giga Gaga Gigo at 1, Warrior of Atlantis at 3, Doom Kraken at 1, Electric Jellyfish at 3, Legendary Fisherman 1 at 2, Legendary Fisherman 2 at 2, Ocean Dragonlord Kairyu-shin at 3, Legendary Fisherman 3 at 3, Mega Fortress Whale at 1, Terraforming at 1, well, we can only use that 1. Dark Ruler No More, you'll need this card if you run into things like Chaos, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. We're going to use one of these. Fury of Kairyu-shin at 1. You might actually, maybe more than 1, but I don't know. For this deck, I found it to be good at 1. Fish Sonar at 3. A Legendary Ocean at 3. Sea Stealth at 2. Rage of Kairyu-shin at 2. Called by the Grave, you're going to use as many as you can, which in this case, right now is 2. You don't care so much about max C because you're not summoning like 30 monsters in one turn. At max, you're something like 2 or 3. But this is more for Effect Veil and Ash Blossom. Torrential Tribute at 2. Kairyu-shin's Dark Reef at 2. This is really good if you start, if you have a bad start, maybe turn 2 or turn 3, you can, change the game in your favor. You'll see in a bit. Goes and Match at 1. I might take this out, I'm not sure. And then Sea Stealth Attack at 2. Some people like to play Sea Stealth Attack at 1 in whatever deck they have this card in, but in this game, cards can be taken off the field real quick, so I like to have them at 2. There's not much of an extra deck because this deck just doesn't need extra deck monsters. It's a callback to the first generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's a callback to Mako Tsunami, and that dude didn't use fusion monsters, and there was no Synchro, XYZ, or Link summoning, so you're not going to need the extra deck. In fact, you could have no monsters here and be fine. I just added these just for, I don't know, formalities, I guess. But the main point of this deck is to get an Umi card on the field. All these cards become Umi when they're on the field. And get Ocean Dragonlord on the field at the same time. Because when that happens, your opponent can only have one face-up monster that is not a water monster. Only one. All the other ones have to go face down. And in this era where you need to have like 2-3 monsters on the field, or your plays end up putting that many monsters down on the field, that means a lot. That stops a lot of decks. A lot of people end up rage quitting when they realize they have no out to this. They don't have no card that just gets rid of Ocean Dragonlord, and they have no card that gets rid of Umi. Especially if you have Sea Stealth 2, this becomes Umi, and also your opponent can't use his monsters' effects to target your water monsters. So having Ocean Dragonlord and Legendary Ocean with Sea Stealth is, in most cases, when the opponent doesn't use Dark Ruler no more, a victory. Alright, let's get into some matches. This is not the best hand ever, but Fish Sonar makes it a bit better. So we go to Fish Sonar. I whip out Dragonlord. It lets me whip out Giga Gaga Gigo too. And I need my Sea Stealth. Normally I would go into Sea Stealth 2, but because I didn't have a Jellyfish to negate anything, I chose Sea Stealth so that I can remove Giga Gaga Gigo to protect my back row in case shit went down. But here he uses Virtual World Gate. This is the one card that's an actual threat to me because he can negate a Dragonlord, and then when he does that, he can summon like all the monsters he wants to summon. But throughout the match, I don't know if he read cards or not, or if I don't know, maybe he just didn't figure it out. But he doesn't negate Dragonlord. He negates, I think, Jellyfish later, but that's not the card he should have negated. And not doing that cost him the match. Let's continue. So he uses that, and I use Sea Stealth Anticipation to see whatever happens. and out comes this thing. I can't read, or I don't read. He uses his I think it's a Regeki. What is a Regeki that he uses? Yeah. So I figured, you know, he wants to get rid of Dragon Lord because he knows what Dragon Lord's doing. Which, as I said earlier, turns out he doesn't. So I save it with Sea Stealth. Sea Stealth is really, really good. Whenever you need to save your monster from something, this lets you banish it until the end of the turn. And you're going to find out later on why it's important. When Sea Stealth 2 comes out, it has an effect that lets you bring a monster from your hand to the graveyard to the field, but you destroy it at the end phase. If you use Sea Stealth, you can save that monster. Or a Sea Stealth attack, you can save that monster from Sea Stealth 2. Another scary card. I was worried about this. No, I've never actually seen someone play this card ever. The artwork, I've drawn this card before, and I've used it before in like 2004, but I've never actually seen someone use it in a non-joking manner. Like, I don't know. Normally, back in my day, like, if I used this, like, my friends would toggle bad reaction to Samuchi, and I just quit right there. But he uses this, which I'm not really worried about it at all. So here comes my Sea Stealth 2. Now his monsters can't target mine. And here comes Legendary Fisherman. I can summon this 5-star monster because Legendary Ocean brought him down to 4. And he tries attacking, but it's just not a good idea. Any of his monsters that attack a monster of mine that was originally a 5-star gets immediately destroyed. Alright, and notice how he still doesn't have 2 cards banished. This says you have to, like, I think it's 2. Or is it this one? Yeah, this one. Here we go. All he has to do is bring back 2 that are banished, and he can wreck one of my monsters. Both these cards were his win conditions, and I don't know, he should have gone after Ocean Dragon Lord more, but he doesn't. So now he's got 2 virtual wood cards that are banished. Now it's where I start sweating. And then he gets rid of Legendary Ocean. That's okay, because this is another Umi. I don't think he read that. He should have gone after Ocean Dragon Lord. But then again, I would have gotten rid of it, and I would have saved it. See, the thing is, I would have saved it by using Sea Stealth, removing it from the field. And when I do that, he'd be free to summon as many monsters as he wants. But he doesn't take that initiative. Maybe he didn't have more monsters to summon. I don't know. He just doesn't do it. Here we go. Here comes Fury of Kairyu-shin. I'm going to use this. Bring out my Torrential Tribute. Place down. I've got 2, but he doesn't know that. And then I believe this is GG's. Yep. Just like that. And that's a virtual world deck. That's not a virtual world, in my opinion, is OP. Needs a nerf. Here we start with a decent hand. It's all right. We have Kairyu-shin, the Dark Reef. What's it called? Oh my god, I can't even read my card right now. So when I saw Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon, I got like Duel Links flashbacks, because the first XYZ monsters there were the Galaxy Eyes Dragon and Galaxy Cyclone. Those are just instant banishes. Banishes for whatever reason. Banishes because the wind is blowing in this direction. It was just banish, banish, banish. And I saw that and I was like, oh my god, I'm not winning this game. I was worried. I didn't think I was going to win. I don't know why I didn't play the Legendary Ocean. I figured he was just going to get rid of it, and that was going to be the game. But I placed this, and I was waiting to use this in combination. And that's how Torrential Tribute saves your life. He already, I waited for his normal summon because I didn't want him to summon something else. So lucky for me, he doesn't have a monster that can special summon itself when you have no monsters on the field or some bullshit like that. So combine these two together, and then you bring out the guns. This is the meat and potatoes of this deck right here. Uses effect to bring Sea Stealth 2, and now that's an Umi, and my monsters can't be targeted by monster effects. And that was pretty quick. If you notice, I can't, well, I guess he turned off his game, but I used Jellyfish to discard an Umi from my deck to bring out a monster from my hand, and that was Legendary Fisherman. I was hoping to draw him later because I knew I was going to need him, because Legendary Fisherman isn't affected by card effects and it can't be destroyed by card effects either. So if he was going to banish something, he wouldn't be able to banish Legendary Fisherman 3. At least that was my thinking. And eventually I'd pull Sea Stealth Attack. This match ended way before any of that came to fruition. All right, another match with a decent hand. This ain't too bad. And lucky for me, he only places one card down. I figured this will be an easy match. Let's see if that happens. So there goes my Atlantis. It's always good to use it, even if you have Umi. This is technically Umi. It's Sea Stealth 2. But even if you had another Legendary Ocean, or if you're actually using Umi, or let's say you're using Pacifist or whatever it's called, it's still good to use Warrior of Atlantis anyway, because you can bait out like an Ash Blossom or something else. Just, it seems redundant, just use it anyway. And if you're thinking, well, I can't send Umi from my deck to the graveyard to summon a monster from my hand with Jellyfish's ability, well then that's okay, because you can also send Umi from your hand to the grave, not just from the deck to the grave, and you can still special summon a monster from your hand. Doom Kraken. Doom Kraken isn't too bad. So here, out comes this thing, and this is the best part. Okay, so this is a Cyber Dragon deck. You need to have more than one monster on the field. You just have to. This is not Sky Striker or anything. You need to have another monster on the field to do all your I guess fusion summonings. What are they? They're fusion monsters, right? I think they're all fusion monsters. But you need to have more than one. I'm about to ruin his day with this. Watch this. Bam. Get rid of that. Get rid of Legendary Ocean. I still have Sea Stealth 2, which is still Umi. And I'll summon Sea Stealth Attack just in case. Just in case my back row gets threatened. And another effective Sea Stealth Attack is when you flip it up, you can take one Umi from the grave and place it back in the field zone. Legendary Ocean, as the card said, is always treated as Umi, so it can come back. That's a very neat little effect of Sea Stealth Attack. That's like the ignored effect of Sea Stealth. People who use that tend to forget that it can do that. So they end up using it at the worst times when they already have an Umi card in the field zone. You should really save it. If not for that, or at least have it ready to banish a monster to protect your back row. But it's also important that you use it to bring back an Umi whenever you don't have one and need one. So now he wants to put that down. I don't know what that card does. Maybe it had something to do with his hand. But this was a special summon. There's a normal summon waiting. But he can't, because this is here. The Dragon Lord is here. Sea Stealth 2 is here. And then Legendary Ocean's here. Now let's see what happens. He tries to infinite imperm me. I'm like, wrong. I'll just get rid of it. And he impermed the wrong monster. He should have impermed this. He realizes he can't summon and he gives up, just like that. And that's most decks. Most duels are like that. They give up once they realize they can't summon. Alright, so this is a fairly decent hand. I have 2 fish sonar. I prefer to have just one because you can only use one per turn. But it works nonetheless for me. As long as you get these 2 monsters on the field, you're golden. I don't know what in my mind compelled me to... Oh, that's why. I already had a Legendary Ocean. See, and we just talked about using this effect to bring back Legendary Ocean from the grave. And here we go. So a quick side note. I'm not sure if I was clear, but you have to kind of decide when you want Sea Stealth Attack up. Do you want it to, let's say, bring back a Legendary Ocean if you don't have one on the field and you have one in the grave? Or do you want to have it early so that you can defend your back row whenever you want? Because let's say that this is some magic card that destroys back row or whatever, right? Let's say this is a Harpy's Feather Duster and you have some other things here. You flip up Sea Stealth Attack in response to the Feather Duster. You can't use its effect. You can use the effect to bring back Umi, but you can't use the effect to defend your back row by banishing a monster. That effect you can't use. Something about spell speeds and... No. But it's just in chains and you can't do that. I've never actually seen this deck, so I wasn't sure what it could do. But he tries attacking. I protect it. Out comes this thing. I'm not sure what it does. All I know is that at some point, any monster that he has with equipped cards can survive its first death. So that means Sea Stealth Attack won't kill it. Not the first time. So here comes this thing. Fish Sonar again to bring back Doom Kraken. I figure I may want to negate attacks. Another thing to keep in mind, Jellyfish doesn't actually destroy cards, it just negates them. And then what I meant to do was, oh my god. So what I meant to do was summon Doom Kraken, right? But unfortunately, with cards that you mean to summon that have effects that you can use in your hand, the effect button shows up before the summon button. Because normally you just double click and then you summon the thing you want to summon, right? But if you double click with a monster whose effect can activate from the hand, you activate the effect. Anyone who plays Invoker, anyone who wants to summon Alistair knows what I'm talking about. You want to summon Alistair, but you end up using Alistair's effect of giving one of your monsters 1,000 attack. And it's not what you want to do at all. And it's the most annoying thing ever that they make it like this. I end up using effects all the time. This happens with Alistair all the time. So Jellyfish says you can send a monster back or destroy. I can't remember. And pick one of your monsters and target one of your opponent monsters and do like this little switcheroo thing that I just did with Jellyfish. I just meant to summon him because that could have... I wasn't lethal, but it could have done a lot more life point damage. Instead, I end up doing that effect, but whatever. I win this duel anyway. Spoiler alert. So here comes this thing. Sea Stealth 2, and this thing's on the field. Wandering Griffin. Never seen this card. He wasn't equipped with anything. Sea Stealth kills him immediately. Sea Stealth works before any damage happens. So Kairyu-shin was a 5-star monster. No, he's a 4, but he was a 5, so it works for him. He uses this thing again to bring this out. I wasn't sure what this Rite of Era's Mirror deck did, and I didn't bother reading too much. I really, like, your confidence goes really high when this is your deck, right? He activates something you don't like, well then it gets negated with Electric Jellyfish. Then he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna target your card again with another effect to kill your back row, and I just banish Jellyfish, and back row is protected. He can't touch it unless he banishes, unless he has something like Cosmic Cyclone, then yeah. But other than that, banishing doesn't banishing opponent's cards is not that big in Master Duel as it was in Duel Links. So they end up protected. My back row ends up protected. And then he's like, well, I'm going to summon this big monster to overcome your monster. But he can't, because he can only put one down at a time with Dragon Lord because of the Umis. And if he somehow manages to get some monster that's like a million attack or whatever, well, then it dies immediately from Sea Stealth. And at worst, Doom Kraken's effect, I can bring this back to my hand to negate an attack of an opponent's monster. So this is a pretty locked down board right here. This is a hard board to get rid of. Unless he has like Dark Ruler no more, or maybe Forbidden Droplet, even though Dark Ruler, in my opinion, is better. There's not a whole lot he can do. Maybe he can kaiju this or take control of it, but he's not going to take control of any of Dragon Lord with a monster effect, because this prevents that from happening. It's a pretty solid board. That's why I like this deck. It has all bases covered. So this happens. I wasn't sure what this did other than bring a token out, and I didn't feel like dealing with the token, so out came, so I just decided to banish it. I don't know if he read the effects or what. Since Doom Kraken is actually a 4-star monster, Sea Stealth doesn't apply to it, but I can still use his effect. I negate his attack by coming back to my hand, which honestly I think I should have just Sea Stealthed it, but I was worried that he would try to destroy something that I wanted to keep. So I said, you know what? Let me just use his effect so I can save the Sea Stealth for later. So there he dies. Just like that. I'm telling you, it's a great deck. It's a really good deck. So this is not the best hand, but it's okay, I guess. It would have been better if I had Legendary Fisherman 3. With this deck, you never draw 2 different Fishermen, like 3 and another one, like 1 or 2. You always draw 1 or 1 and 2 or just 2. I wasn't sure what to do with this deck, so I figure, you know what? Let me just get my Torrential Tribute and put this in the grave. If you put Fury in the grave, you'll be protected for like 1 turn from effects killing you. So this thing is so broken. For the next 3 turns, he can kill my spell cards. It's unfair. Like, all my spell cards are gone. And that means my Umi deck is gone. Like, this card relies on Umi. My effects don't work without Umi. Jellyfish's effect does not work with Umi. Kairyu-shin's Mega Fortress Whale, Deep Sea Kraken, Sea Stealth Attack. But here he goes with this thing, the Labyrinth. I drew Fish Sonar and it was a spell card, so he got sent to the grave. I could still attack him directly. Now it's his turn. I guess that's how you beat Runix. You beat Runix with this, I don't know why he did that. I still don't know why. With Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Which is interesting because, if I'm not mistaken, Tribe Infecting Virus and Crush Card Virus are both banned cards. I know Tribe Infecting Virus is. I think Crush Card may have been taken off. But just like that, like, even though he had such an advantage over me, he still couldn't pull out a win. Lucky for me, I guess. This is not a bad hand at all. Bring out the Legendary Ocean. Put it out. Bring out my Jellyfish. And then I can bring out my Kairyu-shin. And Kairyu-shin brings out Sea Stealth to Normally you want to bring out Sea Stealth too, but you'll see why Sea Stealth attack is also a really good option. Boy didn't read. He thought getting rid of Sea Stealth, he thought getting rid of Legendary Ocean would have fixed all his problems, but it doesn't. So right now he's Umi locked, like he can't do anything else. I just saw a Salamangreat monster, and all those monsters I believe are fire. So it's basically over for him already. He just wants to, I guess he's a masochist and wants to go through this slowly. So if I see Stealth attack, we'll bring back a legendary, an Umi card. Just like that from the grave. I think it happens from the hand too, I'm not sure. Sacrificing one legendary ocean to bring out Dark Reef, and then that helps me bring out 2 more monsters. Torrential Tribute was annoying that he had it, but I figure if I'm going to save something, it may as well be my Kairyu-shin. Mega Fortress Will's effect lets me summon that, and then bring out Legendary Fisherman 3. Legendary Fisherman 3. So let's read real quick. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also unaffected by spell trap effects. So that right there is that takes out most of his problems. It's really hard to get around that. I mean, of course it can be kaiju'd or something, but So Ocean Dragon Lord comes back because of Sea Stealth attack, and he realizes what happens, and he just gave up. He's in the last turn, I think he read this for a while, and then he just gave up. Alright, so in this game he whips out the Fossil Dig. I think it's a Fossil Dig, right? Yeah, it's Fossil Dig. But I didn't see it because I was getting distracted at the beginning of this duel. So he starts summoning all these things, and I don't realize up until he summons like a junk monster or a scrap monster, one of those. And then I was like, oh, I'm going up against a scrap deck. I haven't seen this in this Duel Links. But you'll find out in a minute what exactly happens. So I guess he was going for like a typical Baby Ceratosaurus play. I think back to Duel Links, how Baby Ceratosaurus was good for the, there was a dinosaur deck that involved a trap card, I think. I forgot what it was called, but a trap card that destroyed things on the field and when it was in the graveyard too. But yeah. So I think this is where his first scrap monster comes in. Yep. That sure it is. So I'm like, oh wait, what's happening? What's going on? And I tried reading, oh, it's not even there anymore. But I tried reading, I think it was this Triceratops thing. Yeah, here we go. Miscellaneousaurus to find out what was happening. I was taken aback. I had no idea what to expect. And then the Nightmare Unicorn comes out. And I said, oh boy, I hope that doesn't stay on the field. And then he does this. Apollo USA, and I said, oh crap. Take a good read, and then it says once per chain, oh wait, wrong card. What? I had Apollo USA highlighted and it was showing me Ultimate Conductor timer. I thought that was super at first. Okay, so once per chain, it can negate a monster effect by reducing its life points, or by reducing its attack points. So I thought, oh god, I'm dead. And I said, wait a minute. Kairyu-shin's effect isn't the kind of effect that you would, you know, say it activates, you know? It's not that kind of thing. It just is. You know what I'm saying? And then he summons Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and I was like, I'm dead. There's no way. There's no way. Because with this effect, I'm screwed. Let's continue. But he's not done yet. Out, there goes King Rex, or Giant Rex. And then out comes Borreload Savage Dragon. I almost quit. I was so close. I'm on PS4. You hit the center button to bring up a menu to quit. I was like, I'm about to quit. But you know, I'll just say. And then he summons this, and I was like, why am I not quitting? What am I still doing here? All right. So, look. He's got negates after negates, right? When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can return one banished monster. Well, he has two negates with Apollo USA. He has 3 negates with Borreload Savage Dragon, and he can destroy monsters in quick effects. So I think it's his turn my turn when he does that. But notice how Savage Dragon, it says you can negate but not destroy. And I think it says that for here too. Negate but not destroy. Let's keep that in mind. Watch what happens. This is a strong board. 5 negates is a strong board, plus this quick effect, right? Here comes a legendary ocean. Now, if you guys have been paying attention, you know what comes next. Bam! Kairyu-shin. What does Kairyu-shin say? Kairyu-shin's like, if you can only have one face-up non-water monster, right? 3 negates, 2 negates, 1 quick effect destroy, and whatever this is. I didn't bother reading it. But it's a solid board, right? Watch this. Bam! Bam! All his negates gone. At this point, he should have actually left Superconductor Tyranno, because that was the one thing that could have hurt me. If he used this to destroy Kairyu-shin, then I wouldn't have been able to. He would have been able to just summon his board again. But that's crazy, bro. 5 negates plus a quick effect, and he lost it all. He just like that. 2 cards on the field. These are face down. They're not doing anything. 2 cards on the field. He is the Dragon Lord, indeed. He's not the Dragon Knight, he's the Dragon Lord. Damn, and on top of that, I can draw a card. Sea Stealth too. Well, what's he gonna do? That's a wind monster, so he can't put anything face up. And he wasn't expecting this Sea Stealth attack. He went in for this to have his morale broken. He brought something back, a miscellaneous source. It doesn't matter, because now that thing's gone. He's gonna try and do something here. You know, right now he's, swinging for the fences and grasping at straws, but it's not helping him. Oh yeah, this Dino Rustler thing came out. So he goes to target something, but Sea Stealth attack. I can protect my back row by banishing and then bringing it back the next turn. So that's what I do. I'm like, I got a solution for all the problems you give me, man. And then I come back. And Fish Sonar. That is the last card he wanted me to draw, Fish Sonar. Here comes Jellyfish. And he scoops. He knew that at that point there was nothing he could do. Nothing. I love this deck. So here we start with not a bad hand. I'm really thinking I should get rid of Goes and Match. I don't know. It hasn't helped me all that much. So here he starts with a relinquished deck or a Thousand Eyes deck. I've never played against this deck, so I was worried about getting absorbed into Thousand Eyes Restrict or something. Like in the show, getting sucked in. Here comes his Ash Blossom, but luckily called by the grave, the card that always pops up in your hand turn 1. That card comes out. So that probably ruined his day, honestly. So now, already having Legendary Ocean on the field and Sea Stealth attack, the obvious choice is Sea Stealth 2. And having those 3 on the board just means you're in really good shape. I didn't attack into Link Kariba because I didn't want my... I didn't attack just yet because I wanted Sea Stealth attack to be up when I do that. So I bring back a new card, bring Fury, just to get Fury into the graveyard. And then I put Tribute or Torrential out there. What I really should have done, I guess, is save the room for Dark Reef, but at that point it didn't matter. So killing Karibo like that, having Sea Stealth up with Umi means it doesn't matter if I have 0 attack. I am a 5-star monster, or Kairyu-shin's a 5-star monster, and he's not going down anytime soon. So he whips out the the mascot of Duel Links, and then he dies. He just brought out to say hi. So this is actually a really good hand. Really good hand. So we have another Salamangreat deck. Supposedly, if I'm not mistaken, Duel Links meta has that like at tier 1, I think. I've never lost to Salamangreat. Not with this deck. Probably because they're fire and I'm water, you know. Something like that. So all these cute little animals come out. We're just waiting. He activates this effect to send to the graveyard. Sunlight Wolf. It looks a lot like something from the DDD deck. Splash Mage has 1 water monster. It sucks that I don't know what Salamangreat does, because if I did, I'd have more to say about it. But all I can say really at this point right now is that all this is pointless. I win the duel either way. So, Fish Sonar. If his day couldn't get worse, it got worse. So if he had an Ash Blossom, it would have been okay. Or if he had that, it would have been okay because I've got Sea Stealth 2 in my hand. So that gets banished and then he gets this effect. But that's okay because Fish Sonar comes out and brings out our boy Sea Stealth 2. And I'm going to use a Jellyfish to special summon ODL. And with that, I'll bring Sea Stealth attack. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I do have one. So I've got Legendary Ocean in the grave. When I activate Sea Stealth, it's going to show up on the field. And I take this time, this activation of Sign Up Mining, to activate Sea Stealth because I'm not going to wait until he opens like Feather Dust or something. So where if he does that, I can't activate Sea Stealth's second effect. So I just do it now. I just activate it now and be safe. Activating Dark Reef brings out the reinforcements, and this game becomes a lot harder for him. He tries to fight, but Mega Fortress Whale's effect is pretty good. I love it. A monster attacks, or during the opponent's battle phase of monster attacks, it dies. And yeah, that's the duel. He realized at that point, there's nothing he could do. He can't summon more monsters down. I have a way out of everything he does, and it's like, fuck it, I'm done. But yeah, that Sea Stealth attack, it's a really good deck.